Sat Sri Akal. In this video, we will be traveling over one of the most dangerous roads of India that goes over the Sach Pass, and will be visiting the very remote Pangi Valley of Himachal Pradesh. But before we venture into this valley, I request you to subscribe to my channel Grandpa on Wheels for more travel related videos. On this trip, I was joined by my friends Harbans Singh Sekhu and Harminder Singh Gill. We three are friends since the year 1969 when we joined the college together. After crossing Chamba, we were able to see river Ravi below in the valley, and at a place it appeared very broad due to the lake formed by the Chamera Dam downstream. The road ahead through Tisa had very beautiful small waterfalls and green valleys along it. By about 3 p.m., we reached Bairagad. It has a very lovely PWD rest house and a few hotels with very basic facilities. Bairagad has very lovely views of the valleys around it. The rays of the sun penetrating through the clouds looked as if God was showering His blessings upon the people below. The view of the sun setting behind the hills to the west of Bairagad also presented a very beautiful view. We left Bairagad next morning at about 7 a.m. and at a very short distance from there, stopped at a very beautiful waterfall along the road with a very beautiful view of the valley on the other side. In some time, we reached the police checkpost at Shatrundi, about 17 km from Bairagad. We also had breakfast at this place in one of the two tabbas running in tents opposite the checkpost. We had brought our own bread and we took egg omelette and very tasty ginger tea from these makeshift restaurants. The view of the valley below from this place was quite green and fantastic. Ahead of Shatrundi, the greenery almost vanished. The road at this place was paved with rough stones. As we neared Sach Pass, the slopes along the road were full of big pieces of hard rock. We reached Sach Pass at a distance of 30 km from Bairagad at 8:30 a.m. and stayed there for half an hour. Being at the Sach Pass was very satisfying, as I had been longing to visit this place since quite a long time. The altitude of this pass is 14,500 feet, but the road on both sides of it is very narrow and steep. There is a small temple just above the pass. The view just across the pass is also very beautiful, with dry snow-clad peaks visible ahead. The road ahead of the pass slopes down sharply and is very narrow. Giving way to a vehicle coming from the other side is a nightmare, though it happens very rare. At about 5 km from the Sach Pass is the famous waterfall with water falling on or even across the road, popularly called the natural car wash by the travelers. We reached Kilad at about 10:30 a.m. The river Chandrabhaga is visible quite below from Kilad, the main town of Pangi Valley. After checking in at the hotel, we got our lunch packed to visit the rural side, the real Pangi Valley towards the Kishtwar road. A very beautiful stream flows through the boulders on the right side of the road. After traveling 16 km on the deadly cliffhanger, the Kilad Kishtwar road till Dharwas, we turned right to visit the villages Sural, Batori, etc. The valley on the other side of the road presented a very beautiful view with the leaves of the trees turning golden, announcing that autumn was near at hand. This made the valley look even more beautiful. The left side had good agricultural fields, though empty in those days, where crops like potato, wheat, and peas are mainly grown. We spread a cloth on the ground and sat down for lunch in one of such fields, and after lunch came back to stay for the night at Kilad. Next morning, we started along the Chandrabhaga river. Just out of Kilad, there is a mark on the hill slope which is said to be the imprint of Bhim's foot from the Mahabharata days. We had our breakfast at a small wayside dhaba at village Tindi. A little ahead of that, we had to stop as the road was being dug with a JCB for reinforcement, but not for a long time. Ours being a 4x4 vehicle, we were allowed to pass through on our request for the same. The view of the valley of the river Chandrabhaga below was very beautiful all along the road. Near Udaipur, there was a very astounding view of a village established along a steep cliffhanger. Finally, we joined the Manali-Leh highway at Tandi at the confluence of rivers Chandra and Bhaga, forming river Chandrabhaga, which is known as Chenab in Kashmir and Punjab. From here, we turned left towards Leh side to reach Kelong, just 8 km from there, and stayed at the HPTDC run hotel Chandrabhaga. Next morning, we left for Ludhiana and had a stop at the Rohtang Pass and passed through Manali. Being again in an area full of people, we realized that our car was full of mud of the Pangi valley and gave it a proper wash at a service station near Mandi. At this place, we also saw some village deities being carried in a procession by their devotees to be taken to a fair with great respect and devotion.